What's going on, guys? My name is Zed and welcome to this video. This is last week I watched number 33, and without any further ado, let's get into it.
This is what we've all been waiting for. A fight between the surface and Metro City. Let's get it on!
And the first movie up this week was Astro Boy. I haven't seen this movie in a number of years, but somehow I remembered a good chunk of it. During my one-sentence review, I said that the humans felt more robotic than the actual robots did, and I still stand by that, but while I thought more about it, maybe that was on purpose, because it was kind of showing that robots actually have more humanity inside of them than some humans, and maybe that was a creative choice. I'm not entirely sure, but overall, Astro Boy and the other robots, basically just the robots, were the most enjoyable part, while the rest of the characters were just kind of dull and uninteresting. But again, it's an hour-and-a-half watch. It's a quick watch. If you have the nieces, nephews, cousins over, or if you're at least any interested in Japanese robots, then it's fine. Astro Boy, 2 out of 5 stars.
Fence ain't gonna make.
Dude, don't say that!
It won't make, man. There's not a chance in hell with that defense. You know what they're asking for?
What?
They want the death penalty, man. They want to take your ass down. They want to burn you, man.
And then next up, I watched The Lincoln Lawyer, which I have absolutely fallen in love with. And this movie I've had in my collection for about 2 years now. And this is my first time watching it, but every time I scroll past it on the shelf, I always think to myself, isn't that the movie about John Wilkes Booth's, like, great-grandson, like, trying to defend him in court? Like honestly, that was, like, what was going inside my head. And it's not about that. It's about a lawyer who just happens to ride around in a Lincoln vehicle. But it's so good. And without giving any spoilers, because I think everybody should watch this movie for sure, it's so satisfying because the entirety of the movie has you wishing that you could wrap your little paws around somebody's throat and just rip it out. But it's satisfying. This movie actually made me get up and go for a quick run down my road because I had so much, like, piss and vinegar building up in me. I had to go release it. The Lincoln Lawyer, absolutely fantastic. 5 out of 5 stars.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high.
Another fantastic watch this week came in the form of the late, great Judy Garland. Now, this movie is a biopic about Judy Garland's final tour in the UK, but this movie does flash back to when Judy was younger in her Wizard of Oz days, and it shows a slew of different producers and other actors that she mingled with, and really showed quite a traumatizing childhood Judy went through, and it shows how her life was really controlled and that she really had this desire to just break free, but she also wanted to be an entertainer. This movie is absolutely heartbreaking, but also very lovely. Renee Zellweger gives a incredible performance. Like, I don't think I've watched a lot of biopics. I love biopics. It's one of my favorite genre of movie. I don't think I have seen a better embodiment than Renee Zellweger as Judy Garland. A lot of people say this, but I don't feel like they actually mean it. That you can see themselves, you can see the actor lose themselves in the character. Like, the character is that person they're playing. And it truly was Judy Garland. Like, through and through, absolutely fantastic. Judy is a 4 out of 5 star movie, absolutely fantastic. So the other day I made a video of Halloween movies that I think you should watch, and I showed off The Mummy. And I said you should watch it, and I think you should. But to be honest, it was kind of a slip-up. I meant to say The Wolfman instead of The Mummy. But The Mummy, to me, is a bit boring, a bit more boring than the other ones, and doesn't have the rewatchability, in my opinion, as the other ones. There's one really good sequence in this movie, and it's a flashback sequence where Boris Karloff is kind of showing how he became the Mummy. You know, it was talking about how he was buried alive and why he was buried alive, and you know, why he has so much love for this you know, modern day woman, and that was very interesting. I was very enthralled and entranced by it, and I was very intrigued, but the rest of it was just kind of boring in my opinion. But The Mummy, I would give 2 out of 5 stars. I love this this edition of it, but I just don't love the movie as much.
Don't swing! Don't swing! Swing!
Speaking of movies on my Halloween watch list, I watched Zombieland. This movie I love so much. The characters are fantastic, but Tallahassee holds a special place in Zed's heart. I just find him so adoring and lovable and just badass, and he's not politically correct. He is just there to survive. He is who he is, and that's with or without zombies. This movie is funny. It has really great action. Like I said, great characters, great soundtrack, has great settings, has a great cameo. It's just all in all a well-crafted zombie movie, but more importantly, a well-crafted comedy horror movie, which is very hard to pull off. And I have watched the sequel. I do enjoy the sequel, but I feel like the sequel tried to do too much. Well, this one, I wish I got more, and that's good. Like, it's that good that I'm like, I wish I got more of that, and that was less, if that makes sense. But Zombieland, 5 out of 5 stars. Now, next up, I watched Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. I forgot I owned this movie. I was actually sitting down to dinner, and you see that back black shelf right here? I sat down, and I looked down, and I saw this movie, and I was like, you know what? That's a perfect one to watch tonight. Aardman, is that what the company's called? I'm familiar with them when it comes to Flushed Away and Shaun the Sheep. And there's one other one that I really like from them, but I'm not too terribly familiar with Wallace and Gromit. But I love stop motion and stop motion claymation. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure I've seen some of the shorts in the past, but again, not too terribly familiar with these guys. Oh, Chicken Run. It's right there. It's right there on the cover, Chicken Run. This movie is about Wallace and Gromit, which, from what I've gathered, one of their like gags throughout all their movies, they change jobs, they change professions, and this one they run a pest control company, and it's called like Pestaway or Pesto something, I can't remember what it is. They are tasked at trying to fortify these people's gardens in this little town from rabbits. Like each year, this little town, little village, holds this like vegetable fair where they all, you know, grow these giant carrots and cabbages and such, and they all come together, and there's like this golden carrot award, but they're very, very protective over their gardens, and Wallace and Gromit are the two people that go and catch the rabbits and try to prevent them from coming back with different traps and gadgets and such. And through all of that, they discover that there's this giant rabbit beast that is the biggest rabbit on the block, and it's their job to try to contain him, try to keep the secret of the were-rabbit a secret. It's an interesting film, but it's, again, very cheeky. There's a lot of really good hidden jokes, and that's why I love it. British humor, very dry, very cheeky. Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, I would give 3 out of 5 stars. And that will be it for this week's episode of Last Week I Watched. I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And until next time, guys, I'll be seeing you later. Peace.